song that I could have played is because this was the World Cup song that was played. I think it was 2013. It was the World Cup theme song with Shakira, and Anari went to the stadium where the World Cup takes place in South Africa, in Durban, and he went on the world's largest swing and bungee jumped to his death. But I am so excited for him. I'm so excited. We got to let our children explore. We have to explore. We have to go outside of the United States and see how people are really living. One of the things, Anari and Asari are staying home today because it's park, right? And for parents who don't know about park, from what I understand of my children, is harder than MCAS. Anari and Asari, they do take like the pre-MCAS or the getting ready for MCAS or whatever. But Anari said that park is harder than MCAS. One of the things that we as parents don't know is opting out means to refuse to take a standardized test, such as park, such as MCAS. Why can our children opt out? Because they can. Because it's by law, you have to give it to all children. You can't say, I'm going to give it to you, I'm not going to give it to you. They have to give it to all children, but our children don't have to take it. If you think your children are stressed out already over school, stressed out over tests, don't test well, you do not have to send your child to school to take the park. You can send your child to school, but they don't have to take the park. So I just want you guys to know what your rights are as parents. As parents, you have the right to take 3 days off of work to be at your child's side, whether it's at school, whether it's for a field trip, whether it's for a meeting. You have 3 days. And I want to thank Counselor Charles Yancey for that, former Counselor Charles Yancey. Because of him, you have 3 days out of every school year that you can tell your boss, I'm not going to be here next week because I have to go to my child's school. I have to be there for my child. If you didn't know, now you know. I need you to know as parents, when you know better, you do better. You can be there for your child. I understand you may not get paid for it, but you can still be able to show up without having to lose your job. It is not illegal for you to opt out. Let me tell you, I sent an email to Anari and Asaria's teachers. They are going to opt out of this park. Anari and Asaria always talk about, so mommy, but I want to take it. I want to take it so I can be the best in the class. This time around, they said, you know what? I'm with you. I want to opt out too. Not only did the principal call me, not only did the dean of students call me, but the director of the school called me. I just wanted to make sure that you were sure that I made the decision, right? I sent the email, right? I made the decision already. They are going to opt out. And then even still, after, they call back to confirm. So they want to test and see if you are sure about the decisions that you make. I was certain. They can opt out all they want. If they don't want to take the test, they don't have to. And this is for every test in the future. If they don't want to take it, they don't have to. I'm not talking about that English test, that Spanish test, that math test. I'm talking about these tests that our children are taking. And it seems like it's every 3 weeks. It's every 6 weeks. You know, about my baby's not your statistic. Do your job, and their grades will show whether or not they need improvement. Not the fact that you test them every 6 weeks to see if they remembered what you told them. Not my babies, and not yours either. You don't have to. You can if you want to, but you have the option to opt out. In other news, my apologies, that's my soapbox. I want my people to know. 2 people connected to the Flint water crisis recently died within a week of each other. I don't think you heard me. I want you to understand. 2 people connected to the Flint water crisis recently died within a week of each other. Let me see, because I have this story pulled up of the mother. The first mother to sue over the Flint water crisis, she was found dead, shot in her house. They don't have any suspects. They don't know anything. Sasha Bell and Sequoia Reed were both shot to death in Bell's townhouse. Police say they have a suspect in custody. But from what I understand, because remember, we have friends in high places or that live in different spaces. They get in contact with me on a regular basis, said, Tayla, who they have in custody is them just saying they have somebody. but they don't have the person who did it. They don't know who did it. They just found somebody, picked them up off the street, and said we have a suspect. That's what I was told. Sasha Bell, 19-year-old mother, who was the first person from Flint to sue the city for poisoning thousands of its residents, was found dead in her apartment. Bell, along with a second woman, Sequoia Reed, were both shot to death last week in Ridgecrest Village apartment complex. Police found a 1-year-old that was injured, but refused to confirm if Bell was the child's mother. The unidentified baby, I'm telling you, online they said that is her child. Online, the friends that don't live where we live, that live in different spaces, that confirm that's her baby. The unidentified baby was taken into custody by the Children's Protective Services. Sasha was a lovely young woman who cared deeply. It doesn't matter. Sasha was the first woman to sit here and blow the whistle on Flint. Not only was it Sasha who ended up dead, but there was also Malik Emmanuel Thornton had been charged. Hold on one moment. Technical difficulties, bear with me. On April 16th, the Saturday before Bell was found shot to death, a foreman at Flint's water treatment plant, 43-year-old Matthews, was found dead in his Otter Lake home. His autopsy was inconclusive. I just want you to think. I'm not going to say anything. I just want you to think. People are saying that this is a cover-up. Those were the two individuals that had the most information on this case. As far as the foreman is concerned, he knew about all the water levels. He was informed of what was going on, the backdoor dealings. They said that there was no foul play. They said that, this was just, inconclusive natural death. I know my people are not that dumb. I know they're not. Your system failed to tackle our attacks. Now we will crush you again. Pro-ISIS hacker posts the kill list of U.S. government department employees. The kill list of 43 people linked to various U.S. government departments. The posts by the United Cyber Caliphate were released on social media app Telegram, but the hack doesn't appear to actually reveal any information that isn't already out in the public domain. I don't care. Guess what? In the public domain, my address is available. My first and last name is available. Who I'm related to is available. Right now, if you Google yourself, that's what I would like for you to do. If you've never done it before, many of us have. If you've never done it before, Google yourself. There's a few sites out there that'll tell you we have all this information. Go on and click on it. Before it takes you to the do you want to buy page, because every single last one of them are asking you whether or not you want to pay either $199 up to $159.99. Trust me, I know about these things. Up until that point, they have my mother, they have my auntie, they have my cousins, they have all the addresses that you've lived in the past. Asaria said one of the scariest things, mommy, is I Googled my daddy and it showed me a picture of his house. She said, that's scary because you could Google anybody and then find out where they live and show up at their house. Don't they think that's dangerous? You got the baby asking these questions, but all of the information is public. It's different. Is it for me? I think it's completely different when all this information is public, but when they put you on a kill list with your public information, that's completely different. Like, we don't have crazy people out here willing to do anything and everything to see people wasted. For instance, the woman in Flint, the first woman to sue the city, and the foreman who had all the backdoor knowledge. This is real life, you guys. I don't sit here and think that all these bubbles and happy, like the kitten was taken out of the drain and it's a happy day in New England. You got to get out of this bubble, baby. There's so much going on. Cleveland to settle with Tamir Rice's family for $6 million. The money of the settlement will come out in 2 payments, with the city paying $3 million this year and $3 million in 2017. Tamir's estate will receive $5.5 million, while Tamir's mother and his sister and a cousin will receive $250,000 each. According to the reports, neither the city nor the officers nor the dispatchers involved in the case would admit to any wrongdoing in the case, leaving many lingering issues unresolved in the tragedy. Don't give me my money. What did Coretta Scott King say? Do you remember a couple of weeks back, I read about Coretta Scott King winning the lawsuit against the United States of America, stating that her husband was assassinated by the government. She said, we don't want your money. We just wanted the retribution of people knowing the truth. And I think Tamir Rice's mother, I think all of these mothers that have lost their sons, have lost their daughters, we don't need your money. We don't want your money. We want the truth. I had a list sent to me, was it 3 days ago? I had a list sent to me of all the people who died in police custody. All of the people that died in police custody, and there's a long list. There's a very long, it's an entire website of all of the people that have been killed while in police custody. That doesn't mean that the police killed them per se or shot them, but whether it was in a jail cell, behind in the back seat of a police vehicle, or by the hands of the police themselves. That list is a long list, and I don't feel like we address this as a society, because it's not just us on that list. It's not just black and brown on that list. There's Asians on that list, Hispanics on that list, whites on that list. There's the list. I'm going to leave that soapbox for another day, because that is a conversation that we are having very soon. Boston Public Schools received $1.6 federal grant to address early symptoms of trauma in students. 1.6 million. What percent of that is 1,400,000,000? What percent is 1.6 million? Somebody hit me up yesterday. It was like, Tayla, that's baby steps, though. We got to take them baby steps before we can start running. I get it. But that 1.6 million, when this whole city has been traumatized, all our children have been traumatized. Yesterday, Boston Public Schools Superintendent Tommy Chang, in partnership with Attorney General Maura Healey and the Massachusetts Office of Victims Assistance, with his MOVA, M-O-V-A, launched BPS Cares, a multi-tiered approach that focuses on creating awareness of respect, responsibility, and resilience among students. But what about them damn teachers? Who's going to teach them respect? Who's going to teach them the responsibility to teach my child? Who's going to teach them resilience not to quit just because your 5 years is almost coming up and you're about to have your entire student loan paid off? Who's going to teach them? BPS received a $1.6 million federal grant to support their initiatives that address early symptoms of trauma in students, family, and faculty. In order to do that, we have to first sit down with all 56,000 parents and have a real life conversation about what's going on at home. Not only that, we have to have a real live conversation with our mayor, with our superintendent, with our police chief, and we need to have a real life conversation about why we don't see people that look like us. That's how you fight trauma. By having people teach our children who understand the struggles that they're going through at home. By having police officers that understand our streets, understand our community, have been raised in our city, that can address the issues and understand what the children are going through. Because a lot of problems that we have in this city are the children. They're not even the adults. Trust me, that soapbox is tall and wide. MOVA, whose board is chaired by A.G. Healey, Attorney General, awarded Anti-Terrorism Emergency Assistance Program, AEAP, funding to the Boston Public Schools as part of its efforts to address the short and long-term traumatic impacts of the Boston Marathon bombing. Superintendent Chang was joined by Attorney General Haley and members of MOVA at the Boiling Building in Roxbury to celebrate the start of concrete actions step that will create a new framework in trauma that will be addressed. The city of Boston must do all it can as a community to limit the effects of trauma, said Mayor Marty J. Walsh. BPS Cares requires everyone's involvement, and I applaud Attorney General Maura Haley and MOVA and BPS leadership for providing us with a foundation to build emotionally safe environments for our students, family, and faculty. This is a tremendous step for Boston. 1.6 million is nothing in comparison to what we actually need to alter the things in the city that need to be changed. And I wonder, please, Maura Haley, love and appreciate you, but when's the last time you've been to Roxbury except for going to the Boiling Building? I'll wait. Really quickly in other news, because I know we're getting the power hour. There's this thing. So, I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I have always believed in chemtrails, contrails. So when you go out into, what is that? Like into the cold, when you go into the cold and you blow your breath and it comes out and it looks like you're smoking. When planes are in the sky, they kind of do the same thing, but that trail dissipates very quickly, just like that breath out of your mouth dissipates very quickly. The same with the airplanes. Now, one of the things that I noticed growing up is, those lines used to literally trail behind in the wake of a plane. Now you won't see the plane. It passed by 20 minutes ago, but you still see not only its trail, but another one's trail and another one's trail and that one's trail. And there is a CNN reporter that confirmed chemtrails lawsuit is now filed in Canada. Why is that important? Because Canada was the first country to say that your milk is not what you're supposed to be drinking. Canada is the reason why you have that little label on your milk that says RTGB something should not be in cow. Like, Canada is the reason for that. Canada has now filed a lawsuit regarding chemtrails. You got to pay attention to what's going on in this world. I have a new fire for this information because when my baby came home yesterday, he said, "Mommy, I have so many questions." And he identified the fact that what he learned in school about South Africa is not what he saw when he got there. What you know about Africa is not what you know is not what the truth is. I asked him about TV. I asked him about music. He said the only music that you hear playing there is the same satanic, ritualistic, hypnotizing, lying music that you hear here. Yeah, I said it. I'll say it again too. You know what it is. I ain't even got to tell you. They said the devil was a beautiful singer. My baby said South Africa ain't what they told me it was. And I have so many questions, Mommy. My baby asked me for homework. Can you please give me some stuff to look up so I can better understand this situation? I'm going to just be transparent. He said, I want to understand why there's so many white people in South Africa. Why do they own all the businesses? That's my baby. I love him to death. We have a call on the line, 617-282-0062. Good Rising Caller, you live.
Good morning, Tayla. How are you doing today?
I'm super fantastic. How are you?
Good. I have three things. Can you post that chemtrail stuff? Because I have personally not done enough research, and I would really like to dig into that.
Of course I will.
Secondly, as far as like Flint goes, you and I both know there's no such thing as coincidence. Those two did not die that close to each other by coincidence. There's definitely something more to that. I would be really interested in, well, I'll follow it as much as I can, and I'll be really interested to see how that pans out. Now, you said about the MCAS test, it's for all of Massachusetts, or is that for Boston Public only?
No, it's all of Massachusetts. If you do not want your child to take that test, they don't have to take that test. I think the only test that they I'll confirm this. The only test they have to take is that 10th grade MCAS.
10th grade MCAS. Okay. All right. Yeah, I've got a kid who's really smart, but he doesn't really test well, and he gets a lot of anxiety about it. So if I have that as another tool for me to help my child as he goes through school, I'm definitely going to use it when I can. I appreciate you highlighting that.
Absolutely. So the director of my children's school called me and wanted to confirm that that was the decision that I was sticking with. And I said, absolutely. And they asked me for 3 points, like I was just letting them stay home from school. And I said, first and foremost, my son is stressed out. He's in school for more than 10 hours a day, comes home. He doesn't need to be stressed out over a test that you just want statistics for in order to gain more money. You're not using, my child's not your guinea pig, first of all. Second of all, does it help him with his future? Is what he is learning, is that something that he needs to learn, or is that just testing? Oh, it's just testing. Exactly. It's not something that's going to help him, aid him in his future. That's just repetition. Did you learn this? Did you learn this? Did you learn this?
You said,
have a seat, baby.
A little less testing.
If you want to stand, if you want to sit,
be a lot better off.
Okay, go ahead. I totally agree with that, and I thank you. And I'll post that. Actually, it's currently on my Twitter. I'll go ahead and share it right now to the Facebook. But if you do your own due diligence, I think it's naturalhealth.com or naturalnews.com. It's a naturalsomething.com, and they're like, I find them. It's weird for me because even me as a conspiracy theorist, I'm like, that's a little far-fetched. And then about 2 months later, a report will come out internationally that will say the exact same thing that I was like, nah, that can't be true. So they definitely are on point, but it's just a lot of the information is scary for you to take in and accept. It is. It's difficult to accept even for somebody like me. So be careful when you find the website.
Okay, yeah, because I can get behind and understand how jet engine runs at a lot hotter of a temperature than you breathe out, and hence any moisture that it left out, I'm sure that the atmosphere would pick up and quote unquote, I guess, form a cloud from the moisture that's in the air that the atmosphere collected. But at the same time, like you said, they used to disappear a lot faster than they do nowadays. And I'm pretty sure the jet engines aren't running hotter than they used to. If anything, they're running leaner and using less fuel because that's what we're all supposed to be doing to help protect the planet. So yeah, I'd be really interested to take some time and dig into that. And maybe I can help bolster what you've already reported.
Thank you so much for that. One of the other things I would like to add is the story that I read yesterday regarding the bacteria that produces ice. And they said that they're already using it at artificial snow for artificial snow. So I'm, as a conspiracy theorist, I'm like, what bacteria are they putting in the jet engines? What are they releasing? And how is it that we could have a beautiful, all week is supposed to be a cloudless sky. Now, all of a sudden we have clouds. So, and there was, what was it? The Discovery Channel where they were seeding clouds so it could rain. And this was back when Anari was a itty bitty baby. This was like 7-8 years ago. So it is what it is. Well, I'll keep you posted. And if you learn anything, you'll keep me posted.
Absolutely. You have a great day.
You as well. Love and appreciate you. Hope you have an awesome day today. I would like to take a woosah really quick break, if that's okay with you. Just a really quick break. Waka waka, hey. Is that okay? We'll be right back. Big City 101.3 FM. Waking up with Tayla Andre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. Oh, God. Oh, God.
So he was on fire for no reason.
Anari did that to me.
He was like, I was just listening, driving up, and it was only like 5 minutes. I'm like, yo, she's going in. I got to come in and crack a joke. We can't all be that serious all the time. We laugh too.
We do.
He was going in. He was like, what you say? My soapbox is 6 feet wide. 10 feet tall. I was like, dang. I said, I'm walking into a death trap. I ain't gonna be able to get hired nowhere else. Just for the record.
Come here, Doncor. Say hi to the people.
Peace, peace.
This is going straight to YouTube when we're done.
Yeah, man. I was watching some of your videos last night. It's hard because it's hard to figure out which one to keep up with. Because at first on your Instagram, you was putting up the Mixcloud.
So it's for those who want the audio, it's Mixcloud,
yeah.
and for those that want the visual, it's YouTube.
Right. So I was like, yo, I want to see the visual part. You know what I mean? So, and then I listened to the whole thing of Dr. Randy Muhammad. That's my dude. Good brother. Yo, sharp as hell, handsome as hell. Every time I see him in Grove, I'll be like, damn, them waves be spinning, boy. So if I had any hair, yo, I want yours. You still gonna be able to do the Ava Muhammad joint, or you did it already?
We haven't done it already. I'm still waiting on a phone call so we can have her in either tomorrow or Thursday. So that means we have to move somebody else, which is difficult because that then pushes them 3 weeks. Yeah.
That's why I when I first was asking, I was like, yo, I know your schedule's mad deep.
You know, I looked at the text message and was like, I can't do Tuesday.
Yeah, totally.
I'm like, damn. That's not what I saw. I can do Tuesday.
I'm still getting yelled. I'm gonna get yelled at home because I'll be on daddy duty at this time.
She is so Doncor.
Yeah, I'm like, but your little kings and queens in the making, man, they gorgeous too, man. Anari, I watched the video with him doing the legalized marijuana joint. I was like, go ahead with your bad self, boy. He was on the computer, on his phone, looking up stuff. I was like, yo, this boy is legit. You did a great job, yo. Seriously, with that young man.
That's my baby.
Yeah, he did it. He was good, doing good. The funniest part though was at the end when you was like, what did you say to him? You said, you asked him a question or something, and then he answered the question, and he was like, you already said it. I was like, typical sixth grade boy. Because he's a sixth grade, right? Seven, yeah.
Listen, make sure you wake up with Tayla, Andre, Monday through Friday.
You know what he hit me with yesterday? He was like, you do know September of next year, I'm in high school, right? I'm like, no, you're not. You have 2 years. He was like, no, September of next year, because this year I'm in 8th grade. I'm not ready, Doncor. High school? Big City 101.3 FM, waking up with Tayla Andre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. We have a very special guest in the building. I have known him for like 17 years?
Pretty much.
16 years. And I am so proud. Watched him grow. Watch it like he's everything I knew he would be at a young age. And when you see something in somebody, you have to acknowledge it. And I definitely acknowledged it then. And I knew it was going to come to pass today. And here he is.
Appreciate you.
As a teacher, a preacher, a educator,
liberator.
Everything.
Peace. Y'all is Doncor. Walimu Doncor saw hollering out from Roxbury up here with Tayla Andre. I got to ease up the situation a little bit because she was going in. A little old school Dudley style on the soapbox. So, you know, we're going to ease it up. We're going to ease it up a little bit. Us revolutionaries, we crack jokes too, man. We smile. We have fun too.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I'm saying? You was talking about back in the day when we used to send text messages on the Nokia joint with the changeable faces. You know what I'm saying?
Throwback. You go throw it all the way back.
I had the ill joint with the Jamaica front, depending on which crowd I was in front of. I had the Army joint for the revolutionaries, for my comrades. So, you know, back in the day, we used to do it that way. Peace. So, what are we talking about today?
I want to talk about everything. You know what I would like?
We only got.
That's okay. We're going to make it happen.
All right.
We're going to make it happen. So, do you remember? Hold on. I want to take you back for a second. I want to take you back.
Don't go back to Black Planet, please. My page was whack. Yes. You was the only person to hire people to do your page. Yes, we know. All right. At 16, my page was whack. I had no background. Okay. I ain't have no McGinty. My bad.
You just gotta be gente it. You gotta be gente it.
Just gotta get up, man. You know, I ain't know what that meant at the time.
So I want to take you all the way back.
All right, go ahead.
I want to take you back to when Malcolm X was your neighbor.
Shit.
I want to
I
take.
wasn't alive, but go ahead.
Okay, maybe not your neighbor, but when the house was down the street.
Yes. Before they started talking about taking it down.
Taking it down. How about why the hell would they pick his house to have archaeologists come and dig? Like,
Right.
I should have asked Brother Randy that
You
yesterday.
should have actually.
I'm gonna ask Sister Ava though, Doctor,
You
Sister,
should.
Minister.
Shout out Brother Randy, by the way, Sharper's brother in the mosque. Waves be on point. If I had hair, I told that brother I want my hair to be like yours, Brother Randy. Killing him. Most articulate brother I know. Stands on his post every day. A true soldier in all of the means. I love and respect all of the brothers in the FOI. Shout out every last one of them. Elder John, Brother John 6, Brother Jamal, all of my brothers at the FOI, Muhammad's Mosque number 11. We love all of the work, most consistent organization, Black organization in our community that's been doing the work, trying to transform lives. The most, I don't know, they all these researchers come in all the time and they do research about transformation and which schools are the best. I want to say that the brothers at the FOI, man, are the most consistent in transforming lives, right? And I'm talking about taking them, I think of at Tuskegee, right? The Booker T monument, that's at Tuskegee University, right? The unveiling of the Negro, right? And I always think about, how Booker T's kind of standing there in the suit, he's looking handsome, and there's the brother under the garb. And I think about all of the great work that the brothers in the Nation of Islam do, man, and shout out those brothers for all of the true transformation work that they do in transforming the lives of our brothers who didn't have brothers like them in their lives previously. So shout out to FOI every day, all day. Roxbury, Muhammad's Mosque number 11.
Hold on. So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Are you Muslim?
Nah, nope. But I support those brothers. They called me. I'm there. I couldn't be there last night. I was on daddy duty, so I wasn't able to be there. But anytime the brothers call, I'm there. I support. As you already know, help the brothers organize buses to go down to the Million More March. That was a great experience and opportunity to.
The listeners are familiar when Anari went with you.
Okay, yeah,
you were mentioned. Your name came out of the speakers.
Say no more. But it was just a great opportunity, and I support those brothers. And Brother El Hajj Malik Shabazz said, aka Malcolm X, he said that when it comes to this work of transforming our people, he said we got to leave our religion at home, and I think that's important when we begin to engage in this work, that we don't start with religion, right? Like that's something that we should practice between our God and our family. And like the brother Randy said last week, we got to continue to come out, be courageous, and stand up for our people and be willing to fight for our people, because the enemy is real, they're alive, and they're working hard, and we really don't have time. We don't have time to bicker and go back and forth about which God is real or which textbook we should be using, when the reality is that our people are suffering in it. So
leave your religion at home.
Yeah, I'm on big time.
Did I just hear an accent though?
Yeah, I used to have a radio station, right? WCHC up at Holy Cross out in Worcester. And I used to call myself DJ Chinaman. And I used to be on the radio trying to be Jamaican, right? Because out in Worcester, nobody knew me. And it didn't work out well. So I had to dead that joint real quick.
My accents are horrible. I get messages about them all the time. Like, Tayla, what was that?
Yeah,
what was that? But I want to take you back because you and I can go off track real quick.
Yes.
I want to take you back to conversations back in the day about what would it look like to educate our people? What would it look like if we were educated in the conversations that we had, but in school?
Yeah. And
still, how many years later, it still hasn't been picked up. But yeah, it's worse than what it was. We were learning more then than our children are learning today.
And they got more access here.
Yeah.
With the technology.
Because we didn't have Google. We
Nah,
had to go
that's
pick
what
up
I was
that
saying.
book.
Like when I saw your son on his interview when he was talking about legalizing marijuana, he's on a computer and a cell phone. We didn't have that, you know. Back in the day, we had to go to the library. And it was a process. You had to be dedicated because you go to the librarian.
The card catalog.
Yo, you see what I'm saying? And they give you the card, and on the card they got a number.
You got to search for the number.
You gotta go. You know what I'm saying? God forbid you skip a wrong number and gotta go to another aisle. Shit, it was real, but you know. But it's all a rites of passage, right? You know, for whatever the process is that young people will go through to get the information, that will be their rites of passage, you know. And Brother Walimu Bomani says that we have to acknowledge the rites of passage in the context that the warriors are in, right? So if our young warriors are in this technological age and that's their rites of passage, it's important that we respect it. You know, one time on one of your shows, you were talking about the generational gaps between our generation, the elders, and even some of the young people. And that's one of the things that we have to begin to disseminate. And we have to acknowledge, your way was your way. This way is my way. And this is what my children's way is going to be. So it's important to respect that and shout them out. So shout out all the young warriors that are out there, wherever you're at, public school, private school, charter school, all of the young people that are out there that's getting the information and fighting to get the information. And even so, I'm willing to stand out on truth, even when no one else is. So shout out all my young soldiers. Shout out the Asafo Family for Life. Shout out Walker House Immaculate Sons. All my truth warriors. So we out here. We doing this.
You just shouted out the whole city.
Yo, I got more shout outs too.
We currently have a call on the line, 617-282-0062. I can't even tell you what today's topic is because we're just, Don Core and I are reminiscing upon back in the day when I was young, when I was a kid anymore. But some days I couldn't wish I was a kid again.
Yeah, man.
And we had some great conversations about what it would look like for us to transform our people and what it would look like to be a part of that process and how the elders must have felt when they were walking in Selma, how the elders must have felt when they were fighting for truth and righteousness. And it's weird to think upon who we were as children, because we were children then, who we were as children and how that has shaped and formed us today as adults.
No doubt. And it's important not to, burn bridges, right? Because we don't ever know who's going to be what. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's important we got to respect people where they're at in their process.
Absolutely.
And love our people and not always be so hard on them,
And judgmental.
Yes.
We'll judge you on something you did 15 years ago. Like, that's who you are today.
Trust me, I'm still going through that. That's the one problem about living in this city and trying to do this work. Because people, associate me in particular.
Keep it on your lip, because I know you think you're an MC. You all over the place.
I'm like, yo, son, no. Nah, but, being in this city, man, shout out all my brothers, from Bragdon Street who were a part of my process, right? I can say names, but out of respect for them and where they are in their lives. But, growing up here in Roxbury, it was tough, man, right? So I did things. I wasn't a gangster or nothing like that. I'm an educated thug, but, I wasn't banging. But things happen and it causes you to change and transform. And many of us don't have the opportunity to survive. I did. So it's important that, in the spirit of all my homies from the block, who passed away, right? I understand that, I'm here, I'm alive. So while I have this good health and hopefully a good body, I should use it to the best of my ability and make no excuse for what needs to be done.
With that being said,
You said you had a call.
Yeah, 617-282-0062. Good Rising, call you live.
Yeah.
Say that again. Shut off your radio, Takwa.
Yeah. Just want to shout out Core, man, on behalf of the FOI, Captain of Cook, man. I want to let you know that you love and appreciate and value everything that you do.
Yes, sir.
They can't hear you.
Court. We got a 8-week training schedule, man, set up for the 10,000 fields. I don't have it in front of me, but plug in and get that, man. But Terry, you were talking about the bigot in Malcolm's front yard. You know, there is a Native American chief, the youngest chief ever that grew up among us. His name is Wampa Mequon. He's been going around checking this archaeologist, the same one, and stopping the digs so that they don't dig too deep into the ancestral burial ground. He stopped them from digging on the Boston Common. He stopped them from digging too deep in Malcolm's yard. He goes down to the state house and shuts it down. And I think that'll be an interesting brother for you to interview one day. I'm going to try to put him in touch with you.
Thank you so much for that.
Yes, sir.
But even though he's not no nonsense, you don't stop it. To put it like that, you pull the record, pull the paperwork, stop it dead in your tracks.
Well, thank you for that. Doncor, he said, shout out to you. Shout out to, that work that's being done. We're still going to talk about the 10,000 Fearless and what's taking place this weekend with Dr. Ava Mahavat. So we're still making that work. I know yesterday some of us were disappointed, but everything happens for a reason. And if I ain't worried, you shouldn't be worried either. But thank you, Talk While Love, and appreciate you. I want to get back, Doncor, to, first of all, where did Doncor come from? Donkor. What is Doncor?
So my full name is Walimu Doncor Isaac, right? And
What's your mama name?
Chill, yo. Actually, it's funny because my master teacher, I told him that I had to get permission in order to come and do this. So in the process of asking him for permission, he was like, listen, you better use an alias because they'll come for you quick. They be listening. But, in the spirit of being fearless, I'm going to stay away from my government, but my educator's name is Walimu Doncor Isaac. Walimu is Kiswahili. It's the position that I hold, right, as an educator. So in particular tribes and in the naming process, you get a title, right, and that becomes part of your name. Doncor Isaac is actually is on the birth certificate. At the time, my father shot him out, Courtney Anthony Minor Sr., great man, migrated here from Jamaica. Because of the process that he experienced here in Jamaica, he turned Ross real quick. And my father wanted to make sure that I had a Pan-African identity. Now, it's funny because he's not in that space now. And when I try to have conversations with him about where I'm at as a warrior, he's on this like Roman Catholic stuff, and I always get confused. But again, we have to respect the process of where our people are at, even if they're our parents. So Doncor is from Ghana. It's from Accra. It's actually a family name. So that's why many of my students call me Mr. Doncor versus by my last name, because in Ghana, Doncor is actually a family name.
A surname.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. And it essentially means a humble man. And Esau, and I don't want
that was in the Bible, wasn't it? Esau?
It was before there was a letter J in Arabic, right? Esau was the equivalent to Jesus, but loosely translated.
I'm gonna hold you still. I'm gonna tape you down.
Oh man,
you're not on the basketball court.
I know. But yeah, so the letter J didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no quote unquote Jesus. So in Arabic, Esau means the one that God saves, or AKA Jesus, what people call Jesus now. So altogether,
your name is
the humble educator that God saves.
Ah.
So, my names are important, man. Shout out all the parents out there that being thoughtful and strategic about the names that they give their children. I remember Bill Cosby came out with that joint around like 2002 or 3, where he was like, people are always naming their children these ghetto names and stuff like that. And I never really understood what that meant until I became an educator. And you sit down with children, and one of the process that I do a lot of stuff, Common Core, pieces. But in my classroom, I would do naming ceremonies, and I would, have children basically develop family trees. But the beginning of that is their name, and so many of our young people just have no understanding of where their name comes from. And when I think about my process and how I've come to be able to stand on truth and fight for truth, it all started with my name. I think about that crazy scene in The Wire at the end of the season when homie was like, "My name is my name," right? Like how powerful that is, and how we stand sometimes before our principal just on the representation of our name. So names are very, very important. And I love my name. Shout out Stacey Lynn Smith. I love you, Ma.
I haven't seen her in ages.
Yeah, she's still in the same spot, man. Same spot.
I might have to go knock on that door.
Yo, you don't even have to knock.
She gonna say, "Who are you? Who are you?" Y'all go, "Who this crazy girl walking in my house?" It'll be like 16 all over again.
Yeah, man. She's at the same spot, man. Love my mother to death. And wherever she's at and I'm at, I'm there. And she needs me. I love. We should always love our mothers, obviously, but.
Malcolm X said, and we played this yesterday, out of, the whole Lemonade, Beyonce, the number one
still ain't seen this video.
The number one disrespected person is the woman. Yeah. So.
Sure. And I'd agree, hands down. I mean, as a warrior, sometimes.
What does that mean, as a warrior?
Yo, I'm out here.
What does that mean? Break that down for us, because a lot of us are warriors and don't even know it.
You are a warrior. This post you hold right here every day. You know how hard it was for me to get up this morning? I just wanted to keep it 100. I was tired trying to get up here this morning. I ain't eat. I'm surprised you ain't talking about my breath yet. But you are a warrior. I mean, anybody that is willing to do this work. I seen you down at City Hall. I see you, talking to the politicians. You had the police commissioner, right? Like, you are a warrior. A warrior essentially is anybody that's willing to get out on a post and stand and fight for righteousness and truth.
That soapbox, they'll throw apples at you, oranges at you.
And you come back every day. You come back every day. And then on top of it, you're willing to engage your children in this work. And that's powerful, right? Like, shout out my baby girl who's knocked out right now. But, I wake up in the morning and I look at her, man, and it's hard to send them out, to the battlefield, right? To go stand out and do this work, man. And I admire your courage to be able to put your children out into this war. And we are at war, right? Like, and there's
I can either
so many levels of
get them prepared for battle, or I can try and save them and keep them in the house. Yeah. And when it comes to their doorstep, they're not going to know what to do.
Yeah. And the first time we began to re-engage in our conversations is when I seen your son at the Morehouse joint. So I'm like, "Yo, where's Miss Andre?" He's like, "Yo, I got on the Uber and traveled all the way over here to Chestnut Hill." I'm like, "You did what?"
He went again this year too.
Yo. That boy is shout out to Nari. Wherever you are in class learning, you are a true soldier, son. And you have a great parents, who are instilling the right principles and moral into you, son. So keep at it, man. We're gonna expect a lot from you. The community is going to expect a lot from you.
I see it. He's gonna be like I don't know. He's gonna be a lawyer. His argument game is on point.
Yeah, he was quiet on the bus though. I couldn't get nothing out of him, but
And once you crack that nut open,
it's like, "Hey, can you put the cap back on it, please?"
Nope.
Calm down.
You said educator, and that your
not
students.
A teacher.
What is that?
Not a teacher.
So what's the difference between a teacher and an educator?
Yeah. So for me, I'm not gonna speak. I get in trouble for speaking too broadly, but for me,
very, you better speak.
A teacher is anybody who comes in, they place curricula in front of you and you just teach it, right? Like they tell you got to do this, you got to do that, and they just do it. No questions asked, right? They maintain, no matter how bad it is, no matter how
Misinformed.
And no matter how much our children have no cultural identity, right? No matter how much our children continue to fail, not even according to their standards with MCAS and PART, but just the standards of living, right? Like just the standards of being able to think critically and speak for themselves. That's what teachers do, right? I consider myself an educator because one, I don't do that. My process of teaching, of educating is a reciprocal process. So I understand that there are things that I need to quote unquote teach, right? There are certain skills that children need to have in order to be better thinkers. But also identify and recognize that there are elements in learning that students need holistically, right? Our children can't learn if their spirit is off. I know you told me that I can't curse, but I used to live on Cobden Street over in Eggleston, and we had this lady that lived upstairs and another family that lived downstairs. And it was crazy because with the new structures, all these new homes, it don't got the same, like, it's not as strong. The sounds amplify, so you can basically hear a person fought upstairs, and you would hear it, right? And so, anyways, this lady downstairs had about 5 kids, yo, no lie. And they range from like 1 to 7. And every morning, the sister woke her kids up. You mother, get up. 1 to 6. 1 to 6 years old. Every morning, that's how she woke them up. And this young man that lived up, I'm getting emotional because it was hard, because you want to respect that family. You don't want to call DCF. Technically, I'm a mandated reporter, but that if I quote unquote snitch, that family is now destroyed.
Yeah. Right.
Split them up, and one child is over here, another child is over there. So is it worth it? So I had a conversation with that sister. I don't want to get into that, but just thinking in the context of like, yo, that's how they woke up in the morning. Like that's how that woman woke her children up, and luckily I had the courage to say something to her. But imagine how many other families are like that. How many other children are waking up 5, 4 in the morning to go to Mecca or to go all the way out to schools that aren't in their community, and every morning that's how they being woke up, right? The lady upstairs, I found out her son went to Boston, Boston Latin Academy. Smart kid, smart young man, and just a great soul, always respectful. And one day I come home and my wife is in tears, like bawling in tears. So I'm heated because I'm like, I thought something happened, right?
The only time we willing to fight is when somebody molest our women.
Or shit, I wasn't thinking. Oh, sorry, my bad. I wasn't thinking that because but I'm just thinking, something happened, and so I come home and I'm like, babe, what's wrong? Like, why are you crying? So she was crying like hard, and she's like, yo, the lady upstairs, she was drinking. She lost her keys, so her and the son were locked out, and she peed on herself, right? Drinking, couldn't get in the crib, so she beat the son in the hallway, right? Like just beat the living daylights out of him. And as my wife is telling the story, the part that was most traumatic for my wife, not even this young man, my wife was hearing the thumps, and when you think about teaching versus education, it's like, how dare I, right, take a kid like that young man and sit here and try to say, oh no, today you have to learn this. That young man is broken. Those kindergarten children, the 1 through 6 year olds, they're broken. They're hurt. And until more educators, and I know there's a lot of them out there. I'm not saying I'm the only one. I know a lot of them that are holding their posts and have been holding their posts for dozens and decades of years. Shout out my elders.
But one of the things that I mentioned earlier before you came in the building was the fact that the new $1.6 million grant given to BPS to help with the trauma. But one of the things that we need to help with trauma is the fact that we don't have educators like you that understand or come from our communities. We don't have police officers that engage with our young people that understand or come from our communities. So it's completely different when you have these experiences versus you going back to Newton and have no idea what's going on in these young people's lives. So you really don't care. So you can't put that into context when you run across a child who's not ready to learn, or you run across a child who might not be willing to succumb to authority because you just got your ass whooped by your mama that's a drunken fool. Okay, you can buy a vowel with ass, but you can't cuss. That's a donkey. But you feel me? Like we don't have that diversity. That's how you address trauma.
Right.
By having somebody who understands and knows what trauma looks like, dealing with these children. So as an educator, one of the things that I would like to do, I'd like for us to transition a little bit, because you and I are gonna put together a series because
African Power Hour, baby.
We don't have anything in our school system, in our curriculum.
I'm working on one though. Shout out Brother Shabazz.
Right now, it's non-existent. And a lot of us adults, like I have callers all the time that call like, Tayla, I wish I knew this as a child. Just like your father instilled in you Pan-African identity, a lot of us have no idea. Like, again, Anari just came back from South Africa. He said, Mommy, I have questions. What they told me in school isn't what I learned.
That's so gangster. You sent that boy all the way to South Africa?
He went to South Africa with his daddy.
Gangster.
And he's going to Haiti later on this year.
Gangster.
My kids need to know where they come from.
So much respect. That's crazy. I couldn't send my baby to a daycare right now. You sending him all the way to South Africa?
You know me, John. It was a process.
Crazy.
It was a process, and of course, like I was definitely attached to him going, but
South Africa.
I knew what was important. I knew there's no amount of talking I could do that could give him that experience that he experienced. And he came back wanting, he has a fire in his belly to understand what happened in South Africa.
Yeah, shout out Brother Saeed, man, over at English High School. This brother, was working with the Somali community, taking people over there. Unfortunately, because of the civil unrest that's occurring right now, I and a couple other gentlemen are still planning and working out, trying to get adults as well as young people overseas to the motherland. So shout out Brother Saeed, man, continuously holding his post as an educator, not only educating specifically the Somali community, but also all of us as Africans, and trying to provide an opportunity for us to engage in Pan-Africanism, in the sense that what occurs to us anywhere on the continent of Africa, and anywhere on this continent or other continents, it affects us all as Africans. And we should all be concerned about the issues. But I want to go back to something you said, and I want to politely correct you really quickly.
Go ahead. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Correct me when I'm wrong.
Yeah. Nah. Earlier you said that there aren't any police officers. Just on my block alone, there's a retired officer. His name is retired officer Brother Steve Johnson, and this brother, volunteered his time, even after retiring, asked for no money, and was teaching young people chess at Dorchester Academy, aka Dorchester High. So there's brothers that are out there that are doing the work. I think what the problem is, and even for myself, right, we have to deal with our own narcissism, and we have to admit, this is a work where you're not going to get recognition and accolades. There was a woman.
Ain't no trophies. What did I say?
Yes, trophies. None at all. And there was a woman in my building that I worked in who received Teacher of the Year. But we ain't gonna get into that. But
you about to snitch,
yeah, I know. I gotta remember.
She got Teacher of the Year. Wasn't even an educator.
Listen, I ain't even getting into all that.
You didn't say
but,
I did.
Yes, you did. But and there's a lot of those cases, right? Like the way that Teacher of the Year happens, it's like running for political office. If you in the right circles, they'll give it to you. And for some of us as educators, right, we don't ever get it. I know the school that I started out at as a scholar when I moved here from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. there were educators that were there when I was a young man. And the middle school that I went to as a young man, shout out to James P. Timothy Middle School, Dr. Harris, we love you. But when I was a young man, some of the same teachers that were at the Timothy are still there. And many of them have never received Teacher of the Year. So I mean, this is when we say this is a recognition less work, it really is, and you got to battle that demon. So there are. My point is to say that, politely correcting you in that there are a lot of brothers and sisters, police officers. On my block, when I grew up on Bragdon Street, there was this cop, Dwayne, and he had these two big German shepherds. And he always kept us in line, right? And he always was like, "Yo, what are y'all doing?" I ain't gonna paint a picture and be like, "Yo, he was holding basketball tournaments," or nothing like that. But the brother was on our block, and he cared for us the best way that he knew how, right? And with the position that he held, and I still see this brother, on his post, and he shows love every time. And when I call out and reach, he's there. So there's a lot of us out there, but we just don't get recognition for it.
And we ain't got no awards for that. Trophies. You have a daughter.
Yes.
We recently had a guest.
Yeah, man.
Meltrack.
Big up.
At Anime.
Big up.
You were featured on their page
Big
3
up.
days before their interview, which was scheduled a month in advance.
Yeah, man. I've been following them from the onslaught, from the thought process, because there's a cartoon called "Tell Me Who I Am." I think the sister actually spoke about it on here, but it's like an older joint, you know what I'm saying? And when you go on YouTube, it's kind of like it's hard to see. So when you try to put that in front of our young people, they looking at you like you crazy because it ain't an HD, you know what I'm saying? So they're like, "What is this?" Like, and don't get it twisted. It's a great cartoon. Shout out any parent that has elementary children, and is looking for something that can engage their children. Begin to engage their children in knowledge of self. Tell Me Who I Am is a great cartoon. But when Meltrack came about, when you hashtag certain things, on Instagram, you have the opportunity to click them and check out other stuff and see who else is posting that. And I had, just clicked it, and I've been following it for a long time. And when the sister was saying her son was doing the work with her, and they were showing the creation process, I was like, yo, as soon as they package this joint, I got to get it. And as soon as I have my baby, my baby's on it.
And it happened at the same time.
Yeah. Things happen for a reason, man. The God and the mid-level gods that intervene, the Orishas for us, man, they make sure that things happen, and the ancestors, put things in play so that way things happen for a reason, and that was one of them. And I'm here today, with Tayla Andre. Where your sound bites, man? You don't got a we love, but and we gotta continue some of this great work, right, and provide an opportunity to be able to continue to educate our people, because I've sat in rooms with adults, with men. My wife and I had the great opportunity to lead 16 schools in rites of passage work. Shout out Elder Jegna Kamal Patah from Coles Bar Coalition of Schools Educating Boys of Color. My elder, my Jegna. And we walked men through a process, the same process that we would expect them to do with their young men. And it was amazing to see so many brothers that just had it. I was talking to a brother. I was invited to West Roxbury to do some work and lead them through some libations. And I was talking to a brother that was in that process, and he was like, "Yo, I had no idea who John Henrik Clark is." Right? He's like, "I grew up in Cambridge, black man, beautiful black brother," and he's like, "Yo, I grew up in Cambridge and had no idea because I thought it was good. I thought life was great." And he's like, "Yo, you started hitting me with these texts, because that was my piece, giving them the information, giving them the text, but also giving them practicality." And he was like, "I started reading them joints." He's like, "Now I'm hooked." Right?
And that's what you're gonna do with us, right? You're gonna give us some text and give us some practicality.
Got you. Got to get permission first.
You're gonna educate us, right?
Got to get permission first. And shout out, I want to stop here for a second because I didn't begin properly. But I can't do this work if it wasn't for people before me. So I want to shout out Jamal Crawford right now. Whoever that brother is, I want to say I love you. I want to say you are an inspiration to me. I've tried to have conversations with that brother, but it's like, you know, kind of being like a groupie. So you got that starstruck power. So you like trying to holler at him, but you nervous because you like. But I want to shout out my elder, you know, wherever he is, Roxbury native, man, brother Jamal Crawford, who's been doing this work for ages, yo. Standing out fighting against police and police brutality, and he holds this post daily, yearly. You know what I'm saying? For years now, you know, has a great YouTube channel. If people don't have it, please check out Jamal Crawford's YouTube channel.
And he got videos for years.
Yes,
like you can go back to 2001 and
forget that 1986. That brother got videos for. I watched a joint called Black Cop on his YouTube channel the other day. It was magnificent, and it talked about many of the things, you know, that the reason why I wanted to politely correct you is it talked about that, you know, the struggles of being a Black officer and trying to do liberation work, right? Because, you know, that work is different than being an educator, right? That work is more harsh, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we have to heal ourselves too in this process, and it's hard fighting and holding a pulse every day and then not being able to heal yourself too. So shout out all the police officers that are out there. Not all of them are good, but there are many of them who
trying to do the right thing.
That's right. And the system just won't allow it. And also I want to shout out my elder as well, Brother Mel King.
He is, my gosh.
Yeah. Gotta shout them brothers out.
You can stop by his house anytime, have lunch on Sunday, have amazing conversations.
And that's a brother who just in recent years I started, you know, gaining more information, like real information. There's the legend, and then there's like the information. And I mean, this brother was trying to get Roxbury to be its own city, right? Like he was trying to solidify the political power of Roxbury so that it would have its own budget, like legit budget, not like this stuff they trickle down to us now, or how they shrink our area codes and the lines of Roxbury every year. This brother was trying to fight for Roxbury and really get us to be our own city, man. And shout that brother out for continuously trying to do liberation work for our people. So much love to those brothers, Brother Mel King and Brother Jamal Crawford.
You know, really quickly, one of the things that I want to mention is I see across the street from the police station in Roxbury that they're building, as long as I can remember, that building has been vacant. It's just been
the old police building.
Across the new police building diagonal. Actually, that new space that looks like it's going to be about 6,000 condominiums.
Yo,
that changes when it comes time to vote and you got 6,000 new people that don't look like you. That changes the complete.
I mean, you know, and that's where our people got to practice more group economics, right? I mean, you know, I teach my young guys. Shout out the Asafo, wherever you at. You know, I love y'all. But I teach my guys. You know, we alone by ourselves, we can't do much. Right. But if together, especially when you think about finances, right. And I think about like Asian communities in particular. And by no means am I trying to stereotype, and by no means am I trying to throw shade. Right. But based on the information that I've gathered, you know, they got people that come here from their countries and they're willing to live in rooms with 2 and 3, 4 more people. They stack their bread, and then they say, yo, we want that house next door. And then together with their resources, they go and buy that house next door. Our people are so scared and holding tight to their money that they're not willing to say, yo, you know, to practice.
They're going to do me dirty. They're going to steal my money.
And people have done that. Right? People have done that. But I mean, I'll say this. I mean, a lot of times we have millions of people giving millions of dollars to Black churches. And by no means am I throwing shade at Black churches, but many of those Black churches turn around and give that money to white banks. And when we sit around and we talk about what revolution really is, revolution starts with how we spend our dollars, right? And where we give our money. And part of the reason why, you know, I had to make sure that I posted that video, even though, you know, I don't show that to her every day. You know, she's too young for that. But, you know, we have to start supporting each other, right? Like, seriously, taking our money.
Can I get a discount though? We always want a
That's
discount.
the problem, man. That's the problem. But, you know, we'll stand in line for some J's. And I ain't going to lie, I got on some right now. I used to do that, right? I ain't going to lie. I used to do that. And I've been a victim to that, you know. But when you sit back and you calculate how much money we spend on that, you know, my master teacher, he says that at least we can do the transition, right, and to becoming holistic Africans is that the least we could do is match it. So if you spend $145 or $225 on a pair of kicks, the least you could do is support a black business. You know, buy a couple T-shirts, go buy some black soap, go buy some incense, right, and use that same amount of money to support our people, because when we do that and we cycle that money back and forth, we then can begin to establish, you know, capital, right? That's not only social capital and cultural capital, but economic capital. And shout out brother Dr. Claude Anderson, who continues to do this work, and Baba Amos Wilson in his Blueprint for Black Power, who talks about how important that dollar is, yo. And when we think about revolution and we think about shifting the tides, it starts in our pockets. Like, it's that simple. You know, if we spend more, my wife and I, we have been talking about, you know, trying to become vegans. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, that is one of the hardest things I've ever experienced.
And I love my roti, boy, and I can't stop eating my roti, man, because it's so good to me. But it's a hard process. But she and I, you know, have been talking lately, and it's like, yo, you drive up and through our neighborhoods, and besides getting the ITEL plate from Flames, it's like there's really no black vegan spots here.
Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you could go down here to Preparations and get some fruit, and that brother does amazing work. He'll provide you the information along with giving you the nutrition, you know. And I love that brother so much for the great work that he's been doing and holding his post in the health field. But other than that, I mean, there's not really many places where on a Friday, Saturday night you can go have a meal and engage in good tasting vegan diets. And so, you know, that's another problem, right? You know, health is an issue. We're talking about education. Health education is an issue.
And the fact that we live in a food desert.
Oh yeah.
So we have 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and
money.
What we're going to do is you named a lot of names here. You named a lot of books here. You named a lot of authors here.
You see my library.
Yeah. Amazing.
That's another thing. Folks ain't supporting black businesses. Again, Frugal Bookstore. Shout out brother Leonard and sister Clarissa. Frugal Bookstore doing grimy work. Again, economic capital. They trying to shift them out of that building. I
can't believe Nubian Notions.
Yo, like,
they could have gave that to somebody.
Listen, when I was a kid, right? And this is when we talk about why gentrification is bad. When I was a kid, they used to have some 5%ers that used to be right in front of Nubian Ocean, right? Sometimes they would be on the side of Nubian Ocean Street. Sometimes they'd be on the other side. So like one day you'd have the 5%ers. The next day you'd have the Black Israelites. The next day after that, you have the brothers from the Lost and Found Nation of Islam, right? So like for me, you know, having gone to, you know, a Catholic school for 6 years, it was like coming home and getting out on Dudley Station, you know, it's like, whoa, it's a whole nother world, right? So that's gone. Those brothers ain't there no more. You know, those were some of my first teachers was right there down Dudley. And then I would walk into Nubian Notions, you know, and there was an elder brother there who gave me, didn't charge me, just handed it to me because I was in there looking at books, and he gave me The Miseducation of the Negro. So you're talking about I'm in 9th, 10th grade, and a brother gave me that book to read for independent reading. Like, that don't happen no more. Like it you know, and the young people aren't gonna go get the information, so it's difficult for them. But you had a question. I'm sorry.
I forgot. I'm thinking, to be transparent, I'm thinking of the cover of Miseducation of the Negro, and unlocking that, and how the work that and the conversations that you and I will be having in the future will be unlocking that, your brain, and giving you, hold on, what did you say? Giving you the information and giving you the context behind it.
Oh yeah.
So
Try.
I want to say thank you, Don.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, not just
There,
not
you
for
know.
me. Thank you for the young men. So hold on. You said that you took a bus to the Million Man March. You had over 30 students. How many young men did you have?
On that bus?
Because I'm thinking about the picture that Anari's like this little dot in between.
It was more than 30. There was only about, I want to say, maybe 8 or 9 men. And those brothers brought young men as well. And I shouted them out early again. Shout out Walker House, Immaculate Sons. Shout out Family for Life. My brothers in this struggle for rites of passage. But
you 6 men brought out how many young men? 40.
So it fit like 53 or something like that. So 42.
42 young men.
That's right.
On the bus to the Million Man March. Anari said, you know what? He said this last night. He was like, the Million Man March was supposed to march. Weren't they? I said, they did march. He was like, I know we marched all the way from
the bus down to the mall.
Train. He said, we were on the train.
Them boys
all we
tired.
did was walk.
Them brothers was tired, man. I felt so bad. Because I'm like kicking some of them, like, yo, wake up. Like, you know, the Honorable Minister, Minister Farrakhan is about to speak. And them brothers was like, I felt so bad. So somebody, trying to get them and be respectful of the time, man. But, on the way back, the energy was magnificent, magnificent. And from that bus ride, so much work we've began so much work afterwards. Myself and some of the brothers that was on the bus. Shout out Breakfast for Brothers. Who continues to unify us once a month at the school in Mattapan, the Matter Hunt, every month continuing to create spaces for us to have this dialogue. So a lot of work is sparked out of that. And again, it's stuff that you will see publicly, and it's some stuff that just happens in underground that I won't talk about here on the show.
Oh, Lord. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Donko, how can we find you? Wait, what if I have a son? I want my son to be educated under you. I want my son to, follow in your footsteps. Can you be his mentor? Yeah. Can you come speak to a group that I have?
Anytime. I'm on Instagram, Donko03, where I try to provide some information. Lately, it's just been a lot of my daughter. You know what I'm saying?
She's gorgeous.
I'm starstruck right now. Beautiful little baby. But yeah, I mean, so when I was in the schools, I was doing a lot of work with this Sankofa Man-Child with a Positive Attitude, rites of passage process that I created. My first graduating class is getting ready to graduate from high school right now. And I have young men that weren't able to walk across the stage in 8th grade, right? Like these are the context of
this is real life.
Yeah. And are going to college next year.
Wow.
Getting acceptance letters from Suffolk University, getting acceptance letters from UMass Boston, right? So very proud of these brothers. So that was that process. And then afterwards, you stay connected, and you're called to do different work. So another piece of that is my Asafo Warrior Scholars. And that's a once a month process where we continue the dialogue, where they have responsibilities and tasks that they have to accomplish.
How do I sign up for this?
It's not something you sign up for.
I have to be initiated.
You dig?
Okay. Well, then how do I put myself in the space to be initiated?
You can't, but Anari can.
Well, and that's what I mean. I'm speaking on behalf of mothers with other sons.
I know. It's so that's another part of this work that's difficult, right? We think our brains thinking still in the context of a European way, right? So we think in programs, and programs aren't organic, right? I know I'm looking at the time, and it's difficult because you want something to be organic and it has to fit. Programs don't last forever, but families do. And the African proverb is real that. It takes a village to raise a child. So in order to do that, right, you have to be a part of the village, So I don't like to think of the work that I do as a program. It's a lifestyle. And some come and some stick with it and some fall off because it's a lot of demand. And my Asafo brothers, they tough.
You know what? I have the answer. The answer is they could stay tuned, stay listening to the Wake Up with Taylor Andre show for when Mr. Don Core comes back.
Come on.
And we could go ahead and get some of this knowledge, get this text, and get the context behind it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So
gotta re-Africanize our children. Our elder Baba Ben Jokana said, man, you send your children to the white man every day and wondering why your child is coming home and hating you and hating your family. And I've seen that happen, right? Children who do that. So it's important that we begin to establish our own education processes here outside of the schools and stop expecting, and this is true for a lot of our parents, man, stop expecting these schools to give your child the knowledge itself, man. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you, it is not in the Common Core standards to provide knowledge of self. So we got to teach our babies at home, even if your child is on YouTube, yo, just make sure they're checking out the right channels. The Home Team History, great channel. The Great Griot, great YouTube channons.
So you'll send us all the links so we can be connected.
Sure.
All right.
You be lurking on my page anyway, so.
You know I'm a stalker. Don Core, I thank you.
Yes.
I love you. I appreciate you. I can't wait to start being able to understand the things that you say.
Yes. Coded language, yo. Coded language.
It's not coded. It's just when you don't know, you don't know.
Right. And like the sister Maya Angelou said, when you know better,
you do better. Exactly. Big City 101.3 FM. Waking up with Taylor Andre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. Don Core, say your whole entire name again.
Peace. This is the local Roxbury warrior scholar, Walimu Don Core Esau. Sending much love. Amani Nama Fanikio. Kiswahili means may peace and prosperity always fall upon you and your families, wherever they are. And in the name of all the God, the creator, the Orishas, and our ancestors in particular, I close out with Ashe.
I told you I want to try to understand what he said because I understood Don Core. That's
Silly.
We're going to get it. Big City 101.3 FM.
Yep, that's right, baby. You know what it is? It's DJ Sus One, the feature presentation. Listen, make sure you wake up with Taylor Andre Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 a.m. on Big City 101.3 FM. Wake up with the Radio Rebel. Politics, news, conspiracies. Wake up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. This is the type of stuff I'm into, all right? Make sure you tune in. Let's go. Stand to the left, my wrist, stand to the right, Little mama, she keep looking at me. When I got the key, I was like,
Your phone being blown up?
Yeah, I gotta start heading to work.
Get a little girl. Well, say bye to YouTube. Say bye to Periscope.
Periscope, what's that?
You were on everything today.
I know. I see you got like 5. We gotta get a fundraiser to get you like the Breakfast Club out this piece and get you some HD.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Peace, YouTube. Much love. Your brother in the struggle, brother Walimu Don Core Esau. Peace and prosperity. Peace.
What did you just say in Swahili though on air?
Amani na mafanikio.
And who taught you this language?
Nobody. You gotta just learn it.
Listen, I read all the time. That doesn't mean I know how to pronounce it.
You do. It's like Latin, right? You do what you can. They force us to learn Latin in school, and that's a dead language. Don't nobody use it. You know
Everybody use it. Spanish people use it.
Please.
You know, I did not shout out a sponsor or even shout out the fact that we're bringing David Banner to Boston.
I know. I've been working on that too. Actually, I've been trying to get in contact with the thing. I don't know.
Listen, I want to collab.
Yeah,
I want a complete collab with everybody in the city that's down for the cause.
Yeah, so I've been trying to get those numbers. The brother who did Black All Year, this still on? If that's still on.
Yeah, let's shut YouTube off. All right, YouTube. You can't be a part of the background process, though. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you. I didn't forget about you today, though.